I've just took quite a big risk buying this unrecorded, crash-damaged BMW 1 Series from a private seller, and it has quite a lot of damage. So the driver of this BMW actually crashed on a track, but it's not always as you expect. The guy who was driving this car was actually crashed into by someone else. He was actually crashed into by a 2025 M3 Touring. Two really nice cars. This is a 128ti F40. It's a 2022 plate. The TI is sort of like a special model. It comes with these like red grills on the front bumper, on both sides. You can see both of them are pretty much gone. It has these nice red side skirts. You've got a little TI logo there. It also has the little red inserts on the rear. And the interior is quite nice on this car as well. It's got sort of red stitching everywhere on the seats. You see the stitching. It's got a little TI badge on the center console armrest. And the dash has red stitching too. It also has the BMW seatbelts. They're really nice. But yeah, it's a really nice car. Unfortunate that it was crashed on a track. So this one is actually not a category. The lad who crashed didn't have track insurance, so there's no insurance on this car when it was crashed. So therefore, there was no category marker able to be placed on the car. So it is completely unrecorded, which is obviously a bonus for me. But for the guy who crashed, it's not ideal. It does also only have, I believe, 18,000 miles, so it's pretty low mileage. The damage is obviously mainly here to this front driver's side corner, which isn't too bad. This is all just going to be cosmetic damage. I don't believe that there's going to be any structural damage behind these panels, but we will see once we remove them. There's a bit of damage on this side as well. You see this is quite pushed in, but once again, I believe that'll only be cosmetic damage. But we do have a bit of structural damage on the rear, and sort of on the bottom side of this door. It's been pushed in, and both of the rear quarters have been heavily pushed in too. You can see on the passenger side, and also on the driver's side as well. So what happened was, they were coming out of a corner, so they were coming around a bend, coming out of a corner, and the M3 has been on his passenger side, and the M3's back's kicked out. And when it's kicked out, it's went into the side of him, which has made him spun out, and I believe he's hit front of the barrier, and then the cars came around and it's hit the back as well. So that's how it's got damage on all four corners. The first thing that I wanted to tackle on this car was actually removing the dashboard, but I cannot open this driver's side door because it's caught on this wing. I do actually have two new wings. I've got them here. I've got two new wings there. So the first thing I'm going to do is, I think I'm just going to strip all the damage off of the front end. We're going to get the front bumper off, the headlights out, take both of the wings off, see if there's any damage behind these panels. I don't believe there will be. It seems to just be all cosmetic to me, but we will see. So yeah, that's the first thing I'm going to do. Take the wings off, bumper off, then hopefully I can get that door open. And then the first thing I want to do is tackle the dashboard, because I need to send all of the airbags off to be repaired. So I need to get them removed as soon as possible. Now, I do have some fluid dripping out of the bottom of the car, and that's because there is a radiator which sits behind, well, underneath the headlight, behind the bumper here. And that radiator, I can see, is completely bent in half, so that's where the coolant will have been leaking from. I'm just gonna get the car on axle stands right now because I don't have a lift yet. So I'm just gonna have to live with axle stands and a jack, but I'm completely fine with that because that is what I've done for the past 2 years. So I've removed the front two alloys, and they were both very heavily damaged as well. These are the two that was on the car, but as you can see, that one's different. And that's the alloy that actually came from the car. You can see it's just snapped in half. So they had put that alloy on the car just to be able to move it around. And then if you look at this one from the passenger side as well, it's completely shaved the whole front of the alloy off. So what I've went and done straight away is I went and bought a set of 4 alloys. They've all got good tires on them as well. I was about to pay for 2 tires and 2 alloys on eBay, and it came to about £600. And I managed to get these on Marketplace for 380 quid. And they might need a refurb, But even still, it's worth it because I can sell 2 of them and probably make half of my money back. One thing clear. There's a plug in the middle for the radiator shutters. There we go. I don't think that headlight's going to work again. I was going to say that bulb survived, but it hasn't. Oh, that one has. That bulb's still all right. So I've got the front bumper removed and the headlight, and that's revealed a little bit of extra damage. The crash bar has been bent back. It's actually snapped there, if you can see. But that chassis leg should still be straight. I would think so. And the slam panel as well just took a little bit of a hit here. So yeah, I'm going to need a new crash bar and a new slam panel because they're both bent. But that's not the end of the world. And then the radiator that I was talking about earlier, which sits below the headlight, it's absolutely bananaed, if you can see. Look at that. That's bent badly. Very luckily as well, this bracket here is twisted, and I thought this was part of the structure, but it's actually not. It's just a bracket which bolts off. So should be able to replace that very easily. And I'm still confident that the structure on the front isn't affected. Right, so I've loosened this wing off now. Now, I should be able to open this door. Yes, now I can open the door. And the last bolt is on the inside of the door. Ta-da! There we go. Wing off. I thought this passenger side headlight was all right. I thought it was just broken brackets, but you can see on the bottom, it's actually cracked all the way through and it's absolutely destroyed. So I'm gonna need both headlights, not just the driver's side one. So yeah, just as I thought, there's no extra damage behind here. This hasn't been touched. And same on the other side. But if you take a look at this bracket here, you see how this one's all straight. On this side, this one's all bent, but it just bolts on and off from these screws here. So I just need to do one of those. And there's no damage behind here on this side either. So I'm happy with that. The only extra damage I found was obviously the passenger side headlight was completely broke. And then this damage here as well with the crash bar. But I mean, this was to be expected. I wasn't expecting there to not be any damage. I just couldn't see it because of the bumper. Right, so dashboard airbag. I've never removed a dashboard on one of these. So I'm just gonna just start taking things apart and see how I get on. It shouldn't be too difficult. I don't expect it to be much different than the M2 that I've just done. So steering wheel airbag first. Boom. Halfway there. So there's the dashboard removed as well as the steering wheel airbag. It was pretty easy, I'm not gonna lie. BMWs are just really easy to change the dash. Got them here on the floor. There's the dashboard and the steering wheel airbag. I do also need to remove the, I need to remove the curtain airbags. I need to remove the airbag out of this passenger seat as well, because I need to get that repaired, the other curtain airbag and all the seat belts. So I'm gonna have to take all the seats out and the headliner needs to come out and all the side panels. So this interior is gonna be pretty much fully stripped out, minus the carpet and the wiring. When I take all of the interior apart, you realize there's not actually that much to a car. Once you take all the panels out and all the seats out, you've got your wiring loom, your carpet, your modules, and that's it. There's not really much else. And obviously the dash frame. But for my M4, I think a lot of people think like, whoa, how are you possibly going to rebuild that? If you dumb it down like to the production line of BMW, they make it easy to put them together. It's not like, there's not a million parts. There is a lot of parts, don't get us wrong, but I think I'm just trying to make myself feel better about myself. No, there actually isn't that much to it. You've got your big wiring loom, you've got all your modules, you've got your dash frame, and then it's just your carpets, your panels, and your seats. It's as simple as that. Right, so here we are. I have removed the dashboard. I've removed all of the seat belts. Obviously, I've removed the headliner to be able to get to the curtain airbags. And I think that's about it. I remove all these trims, obviously, on the side pillars. But yeah, that's most of the interior stripped. If I flip the camera, there's not really much to it, is there? You've got your dash frame, you've got your carpets. Obviously, the center console's still in. But, you know, behind the headliner and stuff, you've just got a simple little bit of wiring, a module, a couple of brackets. So if you took all that off, that's half the inside stripped. If you took the dash frame out and the carpets out and all the modules behind it, you've really not got much left. There's not a massive amount to it. It's just all the little clips and stuff on my M4, which is going to be a nightmare. Like, you know, all these little things and clips. But it'll be fine if I take photos of everything and it'll all go back where it needs to be. I'm not worried about it. But yeah, here you can see everything that I've removed. This is all of the airbag system. You've got the dashboard, you've got the steering wheel airbag, both the seat belts, both the curtain airbags, and that is it. There is also tensioners on the seats. Where are they? So, oh, actually no, I'm lying. On a new shape BMW, there is no tensioners on the seats, but I'll show you on the M2. It has these belt tensioners, and you see how that is went all tight there, as this is how it's supposed to look. You see, that's how it's supposed to look, and you see how that's went tight. So basically, when you're in a crash, it pulls your seatbelt in, and it holds it there, and it goes like that. So you have to replace these, but it's different on the newer ones, on the newer BMWs. But that's me done for the day, I think. Oh, also, this door is really heavily damaged, but I can see here, it doesn't look like it's done the structure at all, this pillar. So I might quickly remove that door actually and just see how it looks. Yeah, go on, I'll do that then. So all there is holding this door on is a little plug connector, which I'll disconnect now. It's the plug for the door. And there is two big bolts for the hinge. So I'm gonna need an extension. I can't reach. Ooh, I hope there's no damage behind this door. I hope. Let's see. What are we stuck on? Oh, check strap again. Why am I so stupid? I always forget about that little check strap. There we go. Is that bad? I don't know. Is it? It's not too bad. It's nicked a bit there and there. And that's pushed in. But all that should pull out. Definitely.
So I did have all of my airbags reset and my dashboard restitched, and you can see they put the correct red stitching back in the dash, just how it should be. And then I could start to reinstall the dashboard back into the car.
Final piece to the puzzle.
I hope you got the battery off of that one.
No.
What?
Now with the dashboard installed and the steering wheel airbag installed, I could finally move on to installing the curtain airbags. These just push in with some clips and 2 screws. And then once the curtain airbags were installed, That just leaves the seat belts. So then I could start to install the seat belts on both sides. Once again, they're just held in with one screw on the bottom, and then they go through this metal retaining clip, and then there's another screw at the top, and then they come through the pillar trim and clip into your seats.
Both curtains installed. I've also installed both of the seat belts, the dashboard, and the steering wheel airbag. So that's the full airbag kit installed, and we are at 11:15.
Now, with the curtain airbags installed, I could finally install the headliner, as well as all the handles, the sun visors, and the trims, which go down your A pillars, your B pillars, and your C pillars. They're just held in with some screws with some clips on the top of them. Now, back to the suspension. Since this front driver side was completely destroyed, I've decided to just replace the full corner, so the shocker, the hub, the spring, and the bottom arm. Here you can see that I'm removing the wheel bearing from the old hub to reinstall into the new hub. And then once I've swapped over the bearing, I also had to change over the dust shield for the brake disc. The reason why I had to change the wheel bearing was because the 128ti has a much bigger wheel bearing than the other BMW 1 Series models. I've also got a new ride height sensor. This is what levels your headlights, so it measures how high and low your suspension is. They are attached to the suspension arm here. You can see the old one which snapped off there. So that attaches to your suspension arm, and the other side attaches to the frame of your car, and it like sort of measures how high and low your car is. Now it's hard to tell here, but this side of the suspension's pushed in sort of like that, so it's leaning towards the inside of the car. And that's because if you look at this shocker here, if you see there, it's been dinted in, so it's kinked like that, sideways. So I do have a new suspension corner here. I just bought a full corner in case I needed it, because you never know, the hub can also bend very easily. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the shocker out, and I'm going to fit the shocker, and if there's any more problems, I've still got the hub there to fit that. But for now, I'm just going to install the shocker, as I think it's only the shocker that's been damaged. So here I'm actually using a knuckle spreader to release the shocker from the hub. This actually makes life so much easier using one of these. You can see how easily I can remove this shock assembly from the hub. It just slides straight out. And then the same here to reinstall and remove the one from the one on the car. I used the knuckle spreader again, and then I just sprayed a little bit of WD-40, and with a little wiggle, it just pops straight down into the hub. And then I'm just using a jack to guide the complete suspension assembly up into the shock tower and line up into the holes, and then I can tighten up all the bolts for that. I did also have to change the inner tie rod because it was quite heavily bent, so here I'm just removing the outer tie rod as well as the boot for the inner tie rod. And then I used this little special tie rod removal tool. It's so easy to use this. You just place the bar into there and it just loosens it as easy as that, and that's the tie rod removed. Here you can see how bent the tie rod actually was compared to the new one. And then I'm just using that tool to reinstall the new tie rod onto the car. Now, if you remember, this radiator was absolutely bananaed in half earlier in the video, so I got a new radiator and installed that, as well as the air guide for the radiator too. This is just held in with one screw and a clip, and then I could start to reinstall the washer bottle. This just sits above the radiator. So I've fully built up the radiators and the slam panel. I did record changing this piece here and the crash bar. I had to pull off the full front slam panel to be able to change these, but I've lost the files, so those have changed. And I've installed this new radiator shroud, as well as the brake duct guide, and the new auxiliary radiator as well. And the washer bottle's back in, and I had to change this pump on the washer bottle as well. So that's everything in this corner done. I do still need this lower reinforcement bar, but I'm going to get one of them from the dealership. I did also just change the tie rod, but this tie rod's wrong because it's got too many threads. It's too long compared to the one that I removed. If you look side by side, the threads on this one are much longer, so it's bottoming out. So I'm going to have to get a different tie rod. But other than that, suspension corner needs doing, all the front's done. So yeah, if I get that corner done, it should be ready for its first drive. I need to put some coolant in it, bleed the system, and it should be able to move back and forwards. So here I'm just removing all of the modules from the original headlight, which was broken, and transferring them all over to my new headlight. You can see here, that's it all built up with the new modules. And then I can start to install this into the car, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it should work without any coding. So I've swapped all the modules into this headlight, and I've just roughly installed the headlight. Now I'm going to put the wings on both sides, but before I do that, I'm just painting all the edges with some gloss black paint. It just gives the paint something a bit better to stick to once they're painted on the car, because obviously when they're painted on the car, you're not going to be able to reach around into the edges and stuff. So I'm just flashing all the edges with a bit of paint, and then I'm going to put them on the car. And then unfortunately, I don't think I'm actually going to be able to drive it in this video because I'm still waiting on the drive shaft for this side. But I'm still going to put the bumper on and the wings on and just see how it looks. I do still need this headlight as well, but this suspension side's all done. So really it's just the bodywork, the headlight, and the drive shaft, and then I can build that suspension side completely up. So now I'm just starting to install that passenger side wing and just roughly line it up. And here I was explaining that I'm just going to install this headlight into the car anyway, even though it's broken, just for show for now. And once I get a new headlight, I'll swap it out. And then I'm just lining up the wing on the other side here. You can see that's the panel gap all sorted. I haven't done the one on the other side because the door's damaged on the other side, so I need to change the door first.
So this is the new bumper skin which I ordered, and I've already installed the kidney grills, but I do need to install the brackets which sit on the back corners. These are sort of just brackets which give your bumper some support, as well as this lower grille. And I do have the red trims which go in here as well. These red trims which sit on the corners of the bumpers. And surprisingly, they're actually the same price as the black ones. I thought with them being painted red, they would be a bit more expensive, but they're actually the exact same price, which really surprised me. So yeah, I'm going to get this bumper fully built up now, so it's ready to go on the car. I do still need a passenger headlight, but I've got the driver side headlight. But I might just put the bumper on for now so it looks a bit better. This little piece here sits in the grille, and I thought this was actually like a cover for the radar sensor to go through, but this is actually just a blank, because this car doesn't have any radar sensor there, so it makes it look like it's got one, but it doesn't actually have one, which I thought was quite interesting. Right, so once I put this bumper on, it should start to look sort of like a car again. I've got the headlights in, got the wings on. Just need the bumper to go on now. So I'll lift this on here. I'm gonna plug the radiator shutters in. Just not in the mood to talk. Right, so the bumper's on. Now that the bumper's on, I can sort of use it as a guide to line up the bonnet to the wings and the headlights to where the bumper should be. The bumper needs to come off anyway because I need to repair this parking sensor loom, put the parking sensors in, and I still need to get that bottom reinforcement bar. But now it looks a million times better. Pair of wings on, bumper's on, headlights are in. I do still need to get a new headlight for the passenger side as well. Obviously, I'm just waiting for that drive shaft, so unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to drive it in this first video like I wanted to, but I've still made a good bit of progress. All the interior is done. I do have them two doors, so I'll put them on. And in the next video, it should be fully done driving, and we just need to get the bodywork done. I'll probably wait until the car's fully done to do the next video on this one, because it's not really got much left now. So the next time you see this, it will be completely finished. So that is going to be it on today's video on this BMW 1 Series. I do have a couple more cars that I'm working on, so I've got plenty more content coming. So make sure you subscribe and turn your notifications on so you'll be notified when I post my next videos. I am going to start to try and post every Friday at 3 p.m. So most likely the next upload will be next Friday at 3 p.m. I'm going to try stick with that schedule for now. But if you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to leave a like, and I will see you in the next video.